Welcome back, you guys. So in a previous video I basically described my martial arts journey, and this video is going to be a continuation from that. So during the previous video I was teaching full-time and also training at a jiu-jitsu only club in Watford, England. I'm no longer training there. I'm actually training at a TriStar Gym in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. There's actually numerous TriStar gyms. There's like 3 or 4, but I'm training at the HQ under Coach Firas Zahabi. And Firas Zahabi was basically made famous by being George St. Pierre's training partner and head coach back in the day when George was competing in the UFC. Now this gym is world famous. Ever since I saw this gym on YouTube when I was like 16 or 17, I've always wanted to train there, be it short term like 2, 3, 4 weeks, or even longer term. And this gym is world famous, and I truly mean that. Like, I've trained at a load of different gyms. Even the smallest gym in the UK with like 25 students, if you say TriStar Gym or Coach Firas Zahabi, they know exactly who you're talking about. And I'm here now, and it does not disappoint. The level here is absolutely off the scale. It's like there's not really any higher like category above this. I've trained at 3 major gyms, and there's no like 4th gym after TriStar. You know, it's like three main gyms. There's not gonna be one after this. This is as high as it gets. The people that are good here are world-class athletes. It's insane. The striking is good, the wrestling is also very good, and the MMA, when you put it all together, is also incredibly good. This gym is still putting athletes into the UFC, and those guys are winning in a dominating fashion still to this day in the UFC. So before I could come here, I had to get a visa. The one that I got was a 2-year work visa, and it takes a little while for it to come. I had to go into London to do my biometrics, which is your fingerprints and your retina scan. And the whole process to get the visa is quite long. So before I was able to get the visa, I trained at a few different places in the UK. I actually found a Ashley Williams affiliate, like a Drake affiliate. If you don't know Ashley Williams, he's got a gym in Wales, him and his brother. Ashley Williams is super high level, like very high level. One of my favourite matches is him versus Ethan Creliston, and Ash Williams won the Polaris title in that weight category. So a super back and forth match. It could have gone either way, and to this day I still want to train at his gym in Wales. When I go back to England, I'm going to see if I can train there. I also trained in Peterborough for a little bit. There's a gym there, I can't remember the name, but it was also great to go there as well. And eventually my visa got granted. It's a little bit difficult getting a visa, or the one that I was going for, because you're not actually guaranteed to get it. Let's say you have 2,000 people that apply for the visa, but if the Canadian government only want to put out 1,500 for that specific category, then you've got 500 people that are not going to get one. So it's a little bit risky going for one of these visas, and you don't know how long it's going to take. Every 2 weeks they might give out like 100 or 200 visas out of the 1,500, and that means you could be waiting 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. You could be waiting 6 months plus, and it could run out. You know, like you could be waiting a year and a half and not get it. So it's a major risk, me going for this visa, but eventually it came. I got on a flight here. I almost wasn't able to activate the visa because my flight to Montreal was like 3 separate flights. I had like a few stopovers. I had to change airplanes, and the last flight that was going into Montreal had to turn around in the final 10 minutes. So I went all the way there, and then the last 10 minutes they couldn't land because of weather, so they had to turn all the way back, and I left it like 24 hours or a little bit longer than that, just in case like one of the flights got cancelled or something like that. But I didn't leave it long enough for it to be stress free. So we flew all the way back. I stayed in a hotel overnight, and I just managed to get, I paid for a new flight in the morning, and when I got to immigration they almost didn't let me in because I didn't have the right insurance, but I got it all sorted. I stayed up for like 3 days because of the flights. It was like absolutely insane, but we got there in the end. And I've been training at TriStar Gym since March of this year. What's that, like 9 months, about that. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, the level here is just insane. The white belts are good. Most of the like amateur competitors and the hobbyists are blue belts. To be honest with you, if some of them went to other gyms, they'd probably get they'd probably be promoted to purple belt. Not all of them, obviously, but the standard of Firas Zahabi is super high. Even if you're like a black or brown belt in the UK or let's say Australia, somewhere like that, somewhere with good jiu-jitsu, you're gonna struggle here. Like, you have to bring your A-star #1 game every single day, otherwise you're really gonna struggle. The blue belts are good, and all the people that are like purple belt plus and they compete a lot, and they're going for the big trophies, the ADCC trials, the ADCCs, the worlds in the gi and the no gi. All those people go in the red room. Basically there's two mats. You have the blue mat and then you have the red mat, and all the good guys either go in the red room for the afternoon class, or in the evening they go in the cage with the MMA fighters. And if you're in the cage or the red room, and those guys are so good. Like, I watch them roll, excuse me, and it's just poetry in motion. Some of these guys have been training at TriStar Gym since they're like 5 years old. The facilities at TriStar are great. You have a reception with a merchandise area. You can get like t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that sort of things, boxing gloves. You got a ladies changing room, a male changing room. You have the blue mat, as I said earlier, which is a lot of mat space. Obviously in Canada there's a lot of like, all the buildings are huge, so we're kind of blessed for space. You have the red mat, which is also used for wrestling. You have a full like UFC style professional cage with all the logos and all that sort of stuff. You have a professional sized boxing ring. You have a strength and conditioning area. You have a bag area, and you also have like an extra room where the karate guys and the karate guys use it, and you have cardio equipment in there as well. So incredible facilities here. I put a post on my X account a few days ago that basically said, no matter what your club provides in terms of facilities or equipment, you should always be grateful. Like, even if it's just, you know, a few old mats that you put down in your garage, or even your living room. Like, I've heard stories of people just like pushing their sofas, their couches to one side, putting some duvets, like 2 duvets down, and just like practicing jiu-jitsu. And you should appreciate the facilities that you do have. And believe it or not, I've actually had the pleasure, the honor of rolling with the man himself, 4th degree black belt under John Danaher. And I've had the pleasure of rolling with Firas Zahabi. The guy is insanely good. Like, I remember this one time, he was obviously going like super light with me because he's a big guy. I had his back, he obviously let me take his back, and then the thing about Firas is he kind of like talks, kind of like smack talks you whilst he's rolling with you, which is quite funny. So he's like talking to me, and then all of a sudden he stops talking, and then I was like, okay, what's happening now? And I'm not joking, he did like 3 inversions and then ended up on my back, and I was like, okay, what just happened? You know, like, you see moves where, okay, so someone is here, you're gonna invert and maybe go into their legs, And then if you're a little bit more advanced, maybe you can pair one inversion with a second inversion. If you don't know what an inversion is, it just basically means you just go upside down. But I'm not joking, I was on his back, he just like rolled, grabbed my legs, inverted, did a second roll, like turned it into a leg drag, and then just like did one more roll. I'm not sure what happened, and he ended on my back, and he was just like messing around, like having fun. Yeah, the guy's very, very, very high level. You know, he teaches 3 classes a day, and I think at this point he's working like 7 days a week. The guy's a workaholic in a good way, and obviously he's created this incredible legacy and lineage, which is gonna be there even after he's gone. You know, Ayman Zahabi, his brother, is actually in the UFC at the moment and doing very well. And the thing about Firas is he's not just good at jiu-jitsu, he's not just good at one thing. His wrestling is super high level. I believe he actually started wrestling before jiu-jitsu, and you can definitely see it in his games. You know, very heavy, top game pressure. He's always sprawling. He's just super good, and he has a lot of knowledge with striking as well as the strength and conditioning, and the injury rehab, as well as diet and other stuff. Super smart guy. Also at the gym, you've got a bunch of full-time instructors that teach private lessons. So if you are in the Montreal area, I highly recommend that you pop by, book a private lesson. I believe they do a week free trial, which anyone can have if they live outside of the island. On the timetable, you have different classes. You have the MMA sparring, or the MMA tuition, before the jiu-jitsu in the daytime. They do like small glove sparring, which is the MMA, like the 4, 5, 6 ounce, and they have the big glove sparring. You know, so you put on like 16-ounce gloves and then you spar. Obviously, the guys that do that training, they don't mess about. I've done quite a few of those lessons. It's very, very good, and it's not just sparring. You know, they're practicing technique. What's very popular in the UFC right now is jiu-jitsu style grappling, or you know, a blended version of jiu-jitsu and wrestling, with the addition of trapping arms or trapping limbs. That way you can set up strikes. Obviously that's kind of what Khabib does. He puts people up against the fence, traps their arms, takes them down, and then goes into strikes, ground and pound, or submissions from there. Then in the evening you have jiu-jitsu classes again, and they also have wrestling. So you got all these classes, and the gym is open from, I believe, like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Saturday, and then Sunday I believe has a slightly different time. But basically you can turn up whenever you want. The gym is open 365 days a year. As far as I know, they don't even close for Christmas. Just come in whenever you want, hit the bag, do your cardio, whatever you want. At the moment I'm staying in TriStar dorms, which is literally in the same building. So you've probably heard the phrase, people say, I live at the gym. Obviously they might be exaggerating a little bit, but you know, people nowadays do spend a lot of time training, especially if they're competing. But literally the TriStar dorms is in the same building as the gym. So this is as short a commute as you could possibly get. And you have fighters and just hobbyists from all around the world. Like here I've met people from all over Asia, a few guys from the UK as well, and the gym itself, you got people from all around the world that come here just to learn under these coaches and train at the level that they do here, which is, as I said, super high. You got people from Australia, you got people from New Zealand, you got people from different parts of Canada, the US, a bunch of people from the US, the Middle East, everywhere. Yeah, as I said earlier in the video, if you say TriStar Gym, people know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm hopefully going to come out with more content soon. Take care.